Hello everyone and welcome to another session of Basic Digital Marketing. Now today we'll tackle a very interesting and hot button topic called data analytics. Now the moment we utter those two words, we get a lot of mixed emotion. We get excited, we get fearful, and we get confused. Some of us think that data analytics itself is a too technical a topic for a layperson like us, whereas some people think they actually don't understand what's the difference between the analytics they used to do before and the data analytics that they're doing now. What's the big difference? Well, analytics being such a big and ever evolving area, it's bound to create some confusion. To put it simply, data analytics is nothing but collecting, interpreting, and communicating meaningful pattern in data to get you driven towards some action. It has two sides of it. One side is the technical side, the other side is the more analytical side. The technical side deals with things like applications, algorithms, and tools, all those things. The analytical side of it deals with the concepts and frameworks. Now for a technological person, obviously the interest lies in the technical side of data analytics. But for majority people like us who are not a software engineer or a game developer or any kind of technical person, for us it's more important to understand the conceptual side of data analytics so that we can direct other people who are more into technology, so we can ask them what kind of data, information, and insight that we need to drive our own business decisions. So let's look into the principles. Now today we'll talk about three key principles of data analytics operation. The first one is that we have to have a very clear idea what kind of data we want to track or measure. Now, traditionally in a bygone era, marketing used to operate completely blindly. Now, we used to run a paper ad, we used to give a trade promotion, and when our sales used to go up by 5%, we never had a clear idea what caused this sale to go up. Now, from that era of utter blindness, we have gone to an era of digital where everything can be tracked and measured. Now, for a website sale, you can track the amount of traffic, what source is driving that traffic, what page they are viewing, their purchase, their conversion, their bounce rate, all of these things you can track. Outside the website itself, you can track your employee satisfaction, your budget spending, your supply chain speediness, your amount of customer repurchase, all of these things. So when everything that can be measured, how many do you measure? 15? 20? What's the bottom line? Well, the principle says that we do not measure anything unless we have a very clear idea what kind of action we will use with the data. Now it's so important that I'm going to repeat that again. We do not track or measure any data unless we have a clear idea what we're going to do with that data, what kind of action we will use for that data itself. The second principle of data analytics tells us that we should focus more on insight rather than data or information. Now for that we have to have a clear understanding what do we mean by data, what is information, and what is insight. Now let's look at an example. Let's say you have in your phone's tracker app. It tells you that today you have taken 6,990 steps. Now that's just basic data. Why? Because there is no context behind it. It does not tell you whether it's good or bad, whether it's high or low. Now imagine the same tracker app telling you that on average you take around 8,000 steps, and American Medical Association prescribes that on average everyone should be taking 10,000 steps every day. Now you have some background information to tell you whether your 6,990 steps, whether it's good, bad, high or low. Now, unfortunately, 99.99% of data analytics operations stops at that level. Either we just simply don't look at the data itself and that just keeps lying in our drawer, or we get the data, we get the information, but we simply don't know what action we need to take. Now, understanding what's not working and why it's not working is important, but understanding what we're going to do about it is equally important, which is where the actionability of the insight operation comes in. Now, in the same tracker app example, let's say if the tracker app tells us that yes, I have walked 6,990 steps today, yeah, it's recommended to do 10,000 steps, but by the way, if I walk for 30 more minutes, I'm going to hit my daily target today. If I get that information, I'm more than willing to put on my sneakers and go out and hit those 30 minutes. So that's what we mean by an actionability of an insight. Now, crossing that final actionability and insight hurdle is critically important for us to make complete sense of data. The third principle says that the quality of data is more important than the quantity itself. In fact, faulty data is more harmful than having no data at all, because at least you have not spent any money or time behind it. Sometimes it's not about the faultiness of the data. Sometimes it's your data is not updated, or your data is lying separately in different places. Now, if yours is a typical organization, your sales data lies with sales department, your consumer data lies with consumer marketing department, your budget data lies with finance department. So all these data are in different silos all over the organization, and no one is looking all those data together simultaneously to make some sense of what the data is telling us. Now, there's a concept in digital that's called single consumer view. The single customer view is a very useful technique which basically gives you a snapshot of one single consumer by collecting, interpreting, and presenting all the data of that customer that is lying in different departments. They're integrating all those data itself so that the decision makers can quickly get a snapshot or a summary of what is there and take a quick decision based on that. Now, single customer view is still a very much a pipe dream. As for the survey tells us that only 11% of the organization actually practice some kind of single customer view. But it's a very useful dream to have, because single customer view actually uses all the three principles that we discussed today. It tells us not to measure anything unless we have a clear idea what to do about it. It tells us to focus on the insight rather than the data itself. And thirdly, it tells us to focus on the quality, not the quantity. So that's it for the principles of data analytics. In our next session, we will start looking into more on the tools and application or different frameworks that's available inside the whole digital and data analytics section. Until then, goodbye.